Ingrid.
All right. Hello, everybody. This is Ingrid Dinter, and this is I believe, our 7th EFT for Stress Release webinar. Today is May 13th, and we have a bunch of people on the call. You all know that this call or this webinar will be recorded. It will be posted on YouTube and Facebook, and people on my list will get it as well. So if you don't want that, you know that you can mute yourself, that you can watch the recording if you don't want people at all of that is fine. You know, but by speaking and tapping with me and things like that, you know that people will see that. And the other thing is, you all have signed up before you actually joined the recording, joined the webinar. You all signed a disclosure that you know that this is mental health and that you're in charge of your own mental health. And you need to do your own thing. Okay, I am not in charge of your personal, mental, or physical health, and I'm not a doctor or have any license in that. So you all know that. Okay, so we got the legal stuff out of the way. It's on the papers. Good to see you. Hey, Marty.
Hey.
And hey, let me just, good to see you all. So a quick check-in. How are you doing? What's going on for you? I see Beth, I see April, I see Barbara, Nell. April, have you been here before?
Inger, do you remember me? We did Tom Sherman's yoga certification.
Yeah, of course I remember you. This is the first time you're on the call, right?
I know, it's my first time. I just saw it and I was like, I'm going to come. So
I'm glad you are.
And it's nice to see you. And I will say, I don't know, you can ask me to leave, but I'm a master's level social worker now. So I think it would just be important for people to know that I am a mandated reporter. So if somebody says something that about self-harm or harm to others, like that's information I legally would have to share. So I'm happy to leave the call if that makes anyone uncomfortable, but I just
think— Is anybody here willing to kill themselves today or tomorrow or share that on the call? Okay, April, I think you're good. You know, these people are safe. Yeah. So thank you for saying that, though. You know, that's important. I think these legal things are more important than some people take them. That's why I do that too. You know, at the end of the day, we are always in charge of our own well-being. And quite frankly, I think if somebody knew that somebody is in trouble, just ethically, they should probably make sure that they're getting support, not just legally. Yeah. Barb.
Yeah, they go well together.
Yeah.
I just want to apologize to everyone because I need to leave early for a doctor's appointment, but I thought I'd come for a little while and I'll just leave.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Glad you're here. Glad you could make it. I see Charlie has joined us.
Hello there.
Hey there. Do you have a camera? Do you want to be on camera or you don't?
I don't have a good connection. It's an unstable connection. So if I don't use video, it uses less bandwidth. So I'm hoping to stay with you on audio.
And then, sounds good. That sounds good. And then we have a call-in person, and I don't know who that is. Who else joined us? Somebody on the phone today?
That she may have muted herself. She was asking about earlier. That's Joan.
Oh, okay, cool. Excellent.
All right. Is the mute off now?
Yeah.
Now it is, yes. And I will mute you from here centrally as well later when we do our tapping. So, and Marty, it's the first time for you to be on the call as well, right?
Yes.
This is cool.
And I was just thinking I should probably acknowledge that I'm a reverend and I was ordained in California, and there the rules are for ordained ministers are the same as for social workers. So you got two of us that could possibly need to let somebody.
I'm glad you're saying that, Marty. And at the same time, you know, this is a stress relief class. We're not doing deep trauma work. This is not private work. And I also, when I feel that people are really getting into too personal things, I work with them offline. If they're a good person to work with, I work with them offline because I think there are a huge number of things that really should not be done in a group setting for a million different reasons. One of them is for the safety and privacy of the person. And also because in this situation, I just cannot make sure that people don't get triggered and I don't know what's happening and I'm not there. they don't have support, right? So that's really, when I get that sense, I'm just going to ask them. And you all know that you have access to me. You can call me. We can put a 15-minute call in the phone, in the calendar, and we can talk about things. Okay, you all know that.
Yes.
So cool. Then I have another question. I had a sense, originally I had thought, 7 sessions and we would all be in a different place on this planet with the virus and whatnot. And so that was the original plan. This is also why the link expired. And that's why I send out, I'm contemplating to actually end these calls right now, because that was kind of the original plan. But I'm happy to continue if you guys see value in that, right? So if you do want to do that, then I'm happy to do to continue. I might send out a questionnaire though if we always want to do it on Tuesday, because my sense is that not everybody can do it on Tuesday, and sometimes it's just a good idea to find a good time where people can do it on different, rotate. So if I can see a show of hands, if you guys want me to continue, I'm happy to do it.
How do
Right?
how do you do that? How do you do show of hands?
By saying I just raised my hand and you couldn't see it. You missed out, Ingrid. Okay. Then let's do this. And I'm just going to send out a questionnaire and find out what times work best for people.
Great.
And maybe we'll rotate a little bit through the calendar. I do like the noon time, though. That works well for me, and it works well for the people in Europe. It works well for the people on the West Coast and on the East Coast. So that time is probably set in stone. But everything else we're going to see. I also will tell you about upcoming workshops that I do, upcoming classes, upcoming offers that I have. I am working right now, because I got huge feedback on that, on a clutter clearing, inside and out clutter clearing class, which means getting rid of emotional stress and the physical manifestation of that in your home. Okay, and because I've seen so many practitioners, they tap and tap and tap, and they go back to the same chaos. And it's just, if your outside doesn't change, you cannot manifest and stabilize and solidify your inner changes, right? When your outside always looks the same, then how are you going to really live a different life? Sometimes we have to shift both energies together, and I have a phenomenal course for that, and that's going to come up in probably 5 weeks.
Wonderful.
Yeah, it's super, super valuable. So I want you guys to know about that up front. I'm going to give you more information about that. That's not a free class, but it's well worth what we're doing.
How many sessions? How many sessions is it?
We will talk about that when I get there.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I'd like to make a comment on that.
Yeah.
Which is that I took the free introductory session to that clutter clearing class a couple of years ago when you did it, and redid a part of my home that was horrible. And it has maintained its order to this day. So it's a very powerful class.
Because the system, I'm so glad you said that now, because the system I teach actually works, right? Because it's not feng shui, it's not complicated, it's totally straightforward, making sure your home works for you, right? But it has to work for you. It has to be what you need it to be. And most homes are all other things, but not that. Okay, that being said, so now you have my little announcements here. We will continue for at least a while longer. I will just, I think everybody right now just says, let's see what the future brings. And, as long as you guys need and you see value in it and you show up for the call, I'm going to be here for you. Sounds good?
Great.
Good.
Excellent.
Thank you.
How are you doing? What's stressing you out? What's difficult for you? What do you want to tap on?
I would say fear. I just have this underlying sense of fear and overwhelm also.
Yep.
This sense of like bracing, like I feel my body is like when I meditate, I feel like my body is bracing. So I would say that's what's been going on for me.
Your body's bracing for something?
Like I'm like, just like, I'll be laying there like relaxation pose and my whole body is like throbbing and like on alert. Like my nervous system is just on high alert all the time. So just like there's just this underlying alertness.
Okay.
That would be.
Sounds good. Let's work on that. And I see Deborah and Lou just joined us too. You guys, I will mute you all now so that I can work with April a little bit. Can anybody else of you, just show of hands or whatever you need to do, relate to your body just going, right? Being tight, being on high alert. Okay, I mean, we're talking some serious adrenaline here, right? You know, we're really talking the lion in the desert. It's a big deal. Okay, let's fix that. Okay, so hold on, let me just make sure I mute everybody. And then I will unmute you, April. Okay. So you, yeah, perfect. So first things first, from a rational point of view, does this bracing make sense? Does it make you any safer?
I mean, oh, does it make me any safer? No.
Okay.
I would say no.
Okay. How do you think it serves you right now?
I don't really think it's serving me right now. No, I don't really think it's serving me.
So why are you doing it?
I think it's a bit of a it's a bit of a habit. I think that just the underlying, like, I think it makes sense given the reality of, you know, the coronavirus and working and caring for my family, and but I don't think you know, I'm not currently in crisis per se. Like I'm
In
pretty
New
safe.
Hampshire, it's still pretty low key, right? I mean, everybody's on high alert, but
I'm in Vermont now, and we're like the safest state. Like, we're pretty safe. We had no new cases the other day. Like, it was amazing. So but they're starting to open things up. And so I think that's where fear crept in, was like the state is opening things up, and that's scary to
anybody
me.
else relate to that? Like this whole idea of opening up, like we just got used to hunkering down and being isolated, and all of a sudden, like, what? It feels like all hell breaks loose. Do you guys relate to that? Yeah. Okay. All right, cool.
Can I say something?
Actually, let's, yeah, really quick, but then, sure.
I can speak?
Yeah, for a minute, yeah. And then we just go back to April, okay?
No. Oh, you want me to mute it back?
Yeah, just mute back. Let me work with April right now, okay?
Okay, sure.
All right, cool. Excellent. So I think that makes the most sense. Karate chop point, even though. Take a breath. Even though.
Even though.
Here I am.
Here I am.
Right in the midst of uncertainty.
Right in the midst of uncertainty.
I have no idea what's going to happen.
I have no idea what's going to happen.
And it's freaking me out.
And it's freaking me out.
It really is.
It really is.
It's a big deal right now.
It's a big deal right now.
Jesus Christ, what is it today? Hold on. This is happening right now, you know? Just the weirdest stuff. Do you guys notice that? It's just, you can't make this up, right? Okay, and April, keep your eyes open.
Okay.
Just look at me, okay? Because there's a whole lot of stuff that's happening when you work with somebody. Just keep them open.
Okay.
I don't want you to go someplace. I want you to stay right here, right now, okay? Okay, even though here I am.
Even though here I am.
And it's all weird.
It's all weird.
My whole body is tense.
My whole body is tense.
I feel like I'm facing the lion in the desert.
I feel like I'm facing the lion in the desert.
I have every reason to be tense when that happens.
And I have every reason to be tense when that happens.
Problem is,
there's
no desert in Vermont.
There's no
desert in Vermont.
Desert in Vermont.
There's probably not a lot of lions either.
There's probably not a lot of lions either.
And the scary thing I'm facing
And the scary thing I'm facing
is the virus that we don't have much of here.
and the virus that we don't have much of here.
We have all sorts of other things,
We have all sorts of other things,
but we don't have a lot of that.
but we don't have a lot of that.
And still, I have this massive fear right now.
Still, I have this massive fear right now,
And it's stirring me up.
and it's stirring me up.
And I find all sorts of reasons why I need to be concerned right now.
And I find all sorts of reasons that I need to be concerned right now.
If not for me, then for my family.
If not for me, then for my family,
Or for people that I care about.
or for people that I care about.
For some reason, I have this need to be worried right now.
And for some reason, I have this need to be worried right now.
And maybe just because it feels better
And maybe just because it feels better
than doing nothing.
than doing nothing.
I gotta do something.
I got to do something.
And if the only thing I can do is worry,
And if the only thing I can do is worry,
then so be it.
so be it.
Because I don't want to be ignorant.
Because I don't want to be ignorant.
I don't want to do stupid things.
I don't want to be super tense.
And I don't want to do stupid things.
And I don't want to do stupid things.
Not at all.
Not at all.
Okay, top of your head. But I'm so tense.
But I'm so tense.
Inside of the eye, but my whole body is bracing.
My whole body is bracing.
Outside of the eye, this really got to me.
This really gets to me
Under the eye, on so many levels.
on so many levels.
Nose and upper lip, this really got to me.
This really gets to me
Lower lip and chin, on so many levels.
on so many levels.
Collarbone, my body's bracing.
My body's bracing,
Under the arm, and I don't know what to do.
and I don't know what to do.
Top of your head, and I respect myself
And I respect myself.
for trying to find a way out.
I'd like to find a way out.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Okay, tune into your body and see how you feel.
I feel like I'm breathing a little bit better.
Okay. Wonder why your breathing is restricted. What is the thought behind it?
Oh, why is my breathing restricted? I would say I've noticed like this like feeling of like tingles like in my chest area. Like that's where I feel it a lot in my body is right in this area.
Okay. Okay. Top of your head. I have no idea.
I have no idea
Inside of the eyebrow, why I'm tingling so much.
why I'm tingling so much,
Outside of the eye, but somehow
but somehow
under the eye, it seems like a habit that's worth keeping.
it's a habit that's worth keeping.
Nose and upper lip, it seems like a habit that's worth keeping.
It seems like a habit worth keeping,
And I don't know why.
and I don't know why.
If I lost this feeling,
If I lost this feeling,
if I felt normal and relaxed,
if I felt normal and relaxed,
would I feel as safe as I feel right now?
that would be as safe as I feel
would,
right now?
Would I feel as safe as I feel right now?
Would I feel as safe as I feel right now?
If I had no reaction to the whole trauma around me,
If I had no reaction to the trauma around me,
would they feel right to me?
would they feel right to me? Would that feel right to me?
I wonder
I wonder
what a better solution might be.
what a better solution might be.
I wonder
I wonder
if I'm ready for that.
if I'm ready for that.
I wonder
I wonder
if I have the right to ever be happy again.
if I have the right to ever be happy again.
Take a breath. What comes to mind?
Well, I've been really working at trying to like challenge some negative thoughts in my and trying to like focus on breathing into the positive and like gratitude And so that sort of that practice popped in my head is something that I'm trying to do. Like when I notice something that's good, then I'm just like breathing into it and like.
But how do you feel now?
How do I feel now? I feel the tingles. I feel, I'm glad I'm doing this. Like I'm happy to be doing this. I don't really, maybe just a little disconnected. I feel maybe
that's what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I'm getting at. You're telling me everything from your head right now.
Yeah.
I do the practice. I do the gratitude. Look, there's a whole bunch of things to be grateful for. But the virus and being locked down and having fear of your kids, for your kids and your husband and whatnot, that's not something to be grateful for.
Yeah.
Right? And that's just really important. I think let me do another round with you. Okay. And just let that sit in for a little bit, and then we check in later. Okay.
Okay.
Top of your head. The truth is,
inside
of the elbow, this really sucks.
This really sucks.
Outside of the eye, it's super hard.
It's super hard.
Under the eye, there's no playbook for this.
There's no playbook for this.
There's no right reaction to have.
There's no right reaction to have.
I don't know what to do.
I don't know what to do.
I don't know if I need to do anything.
I don't know if I need to do anything.
But every time I try to have a normal life.
Every day I try to have a normal life.
I realize I can't.
I realize I can't.
I can't just have a normal life.
I just can't have a normal life.
It would be ignorant.
It would be ignorant.
But at the same time, I can't keep on going like this either.
I can't keep going like this either.
Because this is not working for me.
Because this is not working for me.
I'm just going to acknowledge the conflict that I have.
Just going to acknowledge the conflict that I have.
The desire to get back to normal.
The desire to get back to normal.
And the deep knowing that that's not possible right now.
And the deep knowing that that's not possible right now.
Take a breath. How does that feel?
That felt, that resonated with me, I think. Just thinking about feeling the sadness or the fear and letting, like, really maybe sinking in a little bit more would be maybe healthy. I don't know. So thank you.
Let's see how it unfolds, okay? Okay, cool. Some feedback from others, and I believe I'm just, let me just unmute everybody and let's see how you are. Unmute. There we go. Everybody's unmuted unless you mute yourself. Little feedback. What do you feel? What comes to mind?
I feel neutral.
What do you mean by that, Cynthia?
Just like not connected, because it's unknown. You know, the past is not known and the future's not known. And everybody around you is having problems that I don't necessarily have, but I can't help everybody. It's sort of like floating in limbo.
Floating in limbo. Yep. How is this for others? You notice it's kind of where everybody's at right now. Do you notice? At least a lot of people are really at right now.
Yeah.
So it might just be the status quo. It might not be a problem that an individual has. It might just be where we are all at right now, kind of deer in the headlights, right? And that's why we're addressing this, not because now we have a solution. We just need to trap on a specific event and get rid of it, and then everybody's fine. This is not fine right now.
Well, and even if you have money in the bank, you know, like in a financial account and stuff, and they're talking about being like the Depression, when everything tanked.
And they what?
When everything tanked, you know, everything just went all of a sudden.
So, you know, sometimes a part of why I want to do these, webinars with you guys is this, so we can actually solidify that this is part of the path. There is such a thing as a dark night of the soul. There is such a thing as a gray tunnel without a light at the end. There is such a thing as just trying to keep moving, right? There's no solution right now. We don't know if this is right or wrong. We have no clue. I can't fix that for you. Nobody can fix, nobody knows, right? And everything is right and true right now. There are people who really should be staying home, and there are people that have no business staying home. It's both true. There are people that are going to die from this, and there are people that are 15,000 miles away from it. It's both true. And the schizophrenia of that, the craziness of that, is really what we need to learn to process, right? And a part of that is obviously our first reaction is fight, flight, or freeze. Like, deer in the headlight, let's run. The question is, to where? Right? Where are we running? We don't even know if we should be running. Do we run with a mask? Right? And owning that and going through that with open eyes is going to be so healing for you as the weeks and months and years progress. And you just see, wow, there was this time when they started to open, I was frozen. Right? So honoring trauma, you know, my process is ART, acknowledgement, release, transformation. That's my 3 steps that I use when I work on things. We are full blown in acknowledgement, back to acknowledgement, right? We're not in the release phase right now because we don't know if it's safe to let our guard down. We just don't know. We're not in the transformational phase either because we don't have enough facts. So let's work on this. Let's work, if that's okay for you, simply on how hard this is to suck it up right now, right?
Yeah, well, part of it is, normally when you have a problem here, but you have stability here.
Right. And we still do.
Well, but I mean, it's like, it's one thing. It's like your family, or it's like.
Yeah, but it's one thing. We're not living in Yemen, and bombs are not flying around us.
And I'm grateful for that.
I really want to bring this home. Everyone says, oh my God, everything's insecure. No, one thing is insecure. We don't know if we can leave the house safely. Everything else is actually not insecure. As long as we are willing to do what needs to be done, there's not a lot of insecurity. We don't know what the future brings, but that's kind of always the case. Just think about it this way, right?
Like government, there's local, there's whatever. So I'm not, flying off the handle. It's just like, usually there's something.
I know. I hear you. I hear, for example, people saying, oh my God, the hairstylists are open. I don't know if it's safe to go. I don't know either. That's why I'm not going. I am getting my original hair color, and I am filling in the gray. You know what? If that's what it takes, it's a choice, right? So it's not like that, but we perceive it like that. And I want to help you guys move through that a little bit. We are really still in a very fortunate situation. I have friends in India. I have friends in China. I have friends in Africa. I have friends that are natives. This is not the place for this, but if you wanted to hear some stories, you'd be they're humbling. They're very humbling.
I have a friend in Liberia, and they're in complete lockdown, and they have to buy water off a truck.
Yeah. My friends in India say they're vegetarians, and the only food they can get is peas and rice. There's no flights. I tried to send stuff. Everything's shut down. There's no ingoing flights. There's nothing. There's no transportation. We don't live like that. We worry about toilet paper.
Yeah.
So I say this to put it into perspective so we can actually kind of recalibrate where we are and where we want to be. Does that make sense? Barbara, did you want to say something?
Yeah, and I can't bring it up now because I got to leave, but I did want to say that in my case, my body goes into contraction over things I don't know. There's some subconscious, and I just wanted to say that to April. Like I say, I can't tap on it now because I'm walking out the door, but I just know that my body, it's almost like it has this mind of its own. And I often can't get at, what is it that's making my shoulders tight? Why does that hurt so much? Because mine has pain attached to it. Right. So it's not particularly COVID related, but COVID adds to it.
Right,
so
totally.
Just want to bring that up, that there's subconscious.
And you see a lot of people not right now, Actually, I kind of teach that fear is what not knowing feels like. Fear is what not knowing feels like. Fear is the emotion of not knowing. Knowing is a cognitive thing. Well, what does it feel like? It feels like fear. Why? Because if we don't know what to do, that means we can't keep ourselves safe. If we can't keep ourselves safe, that means there's a risk that we're going to die. We're that primal. I'm sorry to tell you. We really are. If we think, hey, I don't know how to keep myself safe, then what are the consequences? If something happens, I might not survive it. Okay, so this makes sense. So whether you can stay or not, stay as long as you can. We're going to do a round on fear. Make sense? You guys okay with that? Do you want to be the volunteer, or do you want somebody else to do it? It's 12:34.
Yeah. No, I have like 10 minutes, so I don't want to be the volunteer.
Okay. Anybody else would like to be a volunteer for that
I
fear
can
and
do
that
it.
contracted feeling? Who is it?
Cynthia?
Cynthia. Okay, cool. All right, then let me just do that. And I'm going to mute everybody. And I am going to unmute you, my dear. Okay. I think we did it right. Okay, Cynthia. Fear, talk to me.
Oh, okay. Fear of just not knowing. I'm less afraid to die than anything else. A lot of mine is seeing people around me that need help, and I can't help them all.
Yeah.
I can't, save everybody's business. I can't feed the kids in the neighborhood that are hungry.
Yep.
And, but I know I am safe. I'm watched over, loved, and cared for by God.
Yeah. It's heartbreaking, isn't it?
And yes. And I would love to reach out and bring everybody home with me and cook. I can hardly shut my freezer. I've got so much stuff in it. But it doesn't translate to feeding everybody else.
I hear you. Barb, does that also resonate with you a little bit? Because I just can't keep everybody safe. All right. I actually had this situation as well. I was giving a ton of masks from my friends in China. And I realized when I started calling nursing homes, they said we go through 300 a day. And all of a sudden I thought all that I had to offer is nothing. Keeps them safe for a week. Shit. And I thought I have this solution and it was nothing. And I actually talked to I actually talked to our minister about it. And he said, you remember the fish and the bread and the situation? Because I had a point of view about that. And the situation is just stop bitching and start doing something. Right? I mean, if you want to narrow it down a little bit, that's basically for those of you who, to whom that means something. And if not, just take it as a story. Do what you need to do at that point. But it's basically like, oh my God, we only have so many fish and so much bread and all these people, we can't feed them. What do we do? And he said, well, just stop bitching. Right? You have fish, you have bread, go do something good, figure out what happens.
Yeah,
and that's really where we're at, And this is something that I'm noticing here too. I'm offering a very small class for a few people, but it's new people every week. And hopefully you guys are all telling your friends that this is an opportunity to get together, to tap on stuff, to release some trauma, to find out where you are in the process of getting through this in safety, to learn something, to pick something up, whatever it is you need to do. Okay, so karate chop point, even though I want to be the mother for all.
I want to be the mother for all.
My freezer only closes with a chain.
My freezer only closes with a chain.
It's so full.
It's so full.
And damn it, I thought I was prepared.
And I thought I was prepared.
I thought I was safe.
I thought I was safe.
I'm not worried about my life.
I'm not worried about my life.
I feel pretty okay. I feel okay either way.
I feel okay either way.
But I see all these other people that I care about.
But I see all these other people that I care about.
The children.
The children.
The families.
The families.
I'd love to just bring them all in and cook them a meal.
I'd love to just bring them all in and cook them a meal.
But there are too many.
There are too many.
It's just too many people.
There's too many people.
It's way too many people for me.
It's way too many people for me.
And all of a sudden,
all of a sudden,
that power that I have, that energy that I have to do something good,
seems to shrink.
that true?
Yeah, it seems to shrink.
Is that how it feels for you?
Yes.
Yeah. Just checking in because you didn't say that.
Oh,
So
I did.
even though I have so much to give,
Even though I have so much to give,
I feel that the more I give, the less I can do.
I feel the more I give, the less I can do.
The more I give to one person, the less I can give to the other.
The more I give to one person, the less I can give to another.
As soon as I step into the cycle of giving,
As soon as I step into the cycle of giving,
that uniqueness of my gift seems to diminish.
that uniqueness of my gift begins to diminish.
I can't change the world.
I can't change the world.
Damn it.
Damn it.
And I don't know what to do.
I don't know what to do.
Who am I in this process?
Who am I in this process?
What's my calling in this process?
What's my calling in this process?
Who do I need to be in this process?
Who do I need to be in this process?
Am I called to be all things for all people?
Am I called to be all things for all people?
Am I called to be something special for just a few?
Am I called to be something special for just a few?
I just don't know.
I just don't know.
And I don't want to be the one who makes the decision.
And I don't want to be the one that makes the decision.
It feels like every time I make a decision to help somebody,
It feels like every time I make a decision to help somebody,
I make a decision against helping someone else.
I make a decision against helping someone else.
Because I just can't do it all.
Because I just can't do it all.
And it breaks my heart.
And it breaks my heart.
True?
Yes, it breaks my heart.
Top of it, so here I am, heartbroken,
So here I am, heartbroken,
with the chain around my freezer,
with a chain around my freezer,
trying to help,
trying to help,
trying to bring love into a very unloving situation,
trying to bring love into a very unloving situation,
and really make a difference.
and really make a difference.
But I don't know how.
But I don't know how.
I don't know when I've done enough.
I don't know when I've done enough.
Once I start this process,
Once I start this process,
there are so many more people who now need my help.
there are so many more people who now need my help.
And all of a sudden I realize
All of a sudden I realize
that I have to turn people away.
I have to turn people away.
That I just can't feed them all.
I just can't feed them all.
I just can't do everything for everybody.
I just can't do everything for everybody.
Damn it, that's not what I signed up for.
That's not what I signed up for.
I prepared to make a difference.
I'm prepared to make a difference.
I trained for this
I'm training for this
all my life.
all my life.
In a way, I'm coming into my own right now.
In a way, I'm coming into my own right now.
Watch Cynthia in her kitchen.
What's Cynthia in her kitchen?
She can whip up a meal, I'm telling you.
She can whip up a meal, I'm telling you.
And here I am cooking.
And here I am cooking.
And there's so many more hungry mouths to feed.
And there's so many more hungry mouths to feed.
What do I do?
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 Okay, take a breath and let's do another round. Okay, ready?
Yes.
Inside of the eyebrow, I wonder
wonder
if I really need to feel this way.
if I really need to feel this way.
Outside of the eye, I wonder
I wonder
if the way I feel is the way I should be feeling right now.
if the way I feel is the way I should be feeling right now.
Under the eye, I wonder
I wonder
if I really have that much responsibility.
if I really have that much responsibility.
No snapple. I wonder
I wonder
if my place in this movement of people who bring change
if my place in this movement of people who bring change
is really as enormous
is really as enormous
as my desire to change things right now.
as my desire to change things right now.
Because I have an enormous desire to make a difference.
Because I have an enormous desire to make a difference.
And I have an even bigger desire for change.
And I have an even bigger desire for change.
I have this hunger for change.
I have this hunger for change.
It's a huge hunger for change.
This huge hunger for change.
And somehow I believe
And somehow I believe,
that I am the only one who should do what I need to do.
that
What needs to be done.
I'm the only one who can do what needs to be done.
That I'm in charge of all the change that's needed right now.
But I'm in charge of all the change that's needed right now.
And I don't know how I came up with that.
I don't know how I came up with that.
And I don't know why.
And I don't know why.
It's so strange.
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 So strange.
Take a breath and think about this again.
It's relieving.
Okay. Top of your head. What if
What if?
I truly was not my part in this change movement
My part in this change movement
was truly much smaller
was truly much smaller
than my desire to make a difference.
than my desire to make a difference.
Instead of the above. What if
What if
I could just do what's right for me and comes easy,
I could just do what's right for me and comes easy,
and it would be perfectly enough?
and it would be perfectly enough?
What if
What if
whatever I do that comes easy for me right now
whatever I do that comes easy for me right now
was exactly what I was called to do and not more?
was exactly what I was called to do and not more?
What if
What if
I make an invitation to 1,000,
I make an invitation to 1,000
but only 14 show up?
and only 14 show up?
What if
What if
what I'm willing to do
what I'm willing to do
is all that's needed right now
is all that's needed right now
in my world?
in my world?
What if
What if
other people were also able
we're also able
to take themselves to keep themselves safe?
to keep themselves safe?
What if
What if
my family was safe without me making sure they are?
my family was safe without me making sure they are?
What if
What if
other people were stepping up and feeding people too?
other people are stepping up and feeding too?
And I'm just part of this.
I'm just part of this.
Maybe a strong part,
Maybe a strong part.
maybe a leader,
Maybe a leader,
but not the only one.
but not the only one.
And all I need to do is do my part
All I need to do is do my part.
with my bread and my fish.
My bread and my fish.
Just giving them to someone.
Giving them to someone.
Whoever says pick me first,
Whoever says pick me first.
as much as I have,
As much as I have.
and then I can close the kitchen.
And then I can close the kitchen.
Take a breath. How are you doing, Dawn?
Good. It was. That was a good focus.
Does that feel realistic to you? Does it feel appropriate? Or do you think it's like, nah, this is not really where I want to go?
It's appropriate because I have one person I need to reach out to
One person.
that has on next door has said she's having trouble feeding her children.
Oh my God, what a gift you are.
So I have food already cooked. I have food frozen. I can do that.
If you feed these kids, you know what you're going to do? Do you know what you're doing? Do you know what a big deal that is?
If you're the kid, yeah.
What do they learn about life?
God is love. And someone takes care of them.
That they're taken care of. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
What else do they learn?
I think the mother will learn that someone's listening to her cry.
So you go ahead and do that.
Yep.
The nice thing is when you pick your battle, when you focus on what you can do it much more sustainably. Sometimes it's better to be a like a lighthouse
Yeah.
that shines in one direction and says, just in case you want to come to this coast, here is the way to get there, than to try to light the entire planet for a minute. And the reason is because these kids are also going to talk about this. This mother is also going to remember something. When these kids grow up and they learn, number one, they learn how to cook. Right? They learn a home-cooked meal. And they know how nice that is. And they will also bring this out. Right? Is this okay for you?
Yeah.
Okay. Is it also okay that you cannot do this to all the hungry children?
Yes, and there are probably 3 or 4 resources that I plug into. I mean, 3 or 4 different responsibilities.
Okay.
So,
Whatever works for
and
you.
one's in Africa. You know, one is local donations. People look to me as I'm not afraid to speak up, and so many people will go, well, you know, I'm glad you spoke up.
Yeah. So you do a number of things
Yeah.
in the situation where we are really kind of tied down. One of them is you do what is exactly next door.
Yeah.
You do what's safe. And April, that's true for you too. You do what's next door. Because it's next door. If you don't do it, nobody else will. Nobody else will ever get closer to them than you are, right? So you do what's personal. You do what you can immediately do, and you do where you know you can have the biggest impact. Making sure that these families, that this family knows that they're getting a hot meal 3 times a week with leftovers, or whatever it is that you're planning on doing, or every Saturday, or whatever it is that works for you.
I'm
You know,
just gonna give her the food out of my freezer.
whatever it is that works for you.
Yeah.
You know, you make a huge difference. And that might just be what we're called for these days. You know, we might just be called to be the neighborhood hero. And the way to make a difference in times like these is by being a neighborhood hero, not by trying to go into the big fat politics. Unless you have the connections and you can do that. But if you don't, then there's really no reason to get all ramped up. So the question would be right now, there are 2 things to this. One thing that let me ask you this. How do you guys, let me unmute you guys actually all, so that we can, oh, here we are. Quick feedback on this tapping. How did this resonate with you guys? You're all unmuted right now. How did this resonate? Is this something that you can, that felt right, that's sitting right, or is something coming up for you where you say, no, you don't understand the situation?
Somewhere in between for me. It felt really good. And then I also have another situation in my life where it's a personal one, so it may or may not be appropriate here, but I have someone in my family who wants me to save her. And I can't. She's got to do the work herself. It's an emotional thing. And what she wants me to do is very painful for me and can't help her. And yet other people are saying, well, why won't you just do it for her? And so I feel sort of stuck, that I'm afraid I'll lose the relationship. And I want to help and I feel her pain, and yet I feel my own pain. So I'm a little confused there. But this still did translate some to that situation.
Okay. Let me keep that in mind.
Sure.
I hear you. It's this conflict of where do I belong right now, right? I mean, we're halfway starting to kind of sort of be back to normal. Where do we belong? What do we do, right? Do we need to help people? If so, who do we need to help? How much do we need to help? How long? Do we need help ourselves? Are we safe? Are we not safe? You know, it's a weird situation. And I'm not going to tap you into a happy place here. I think we're all going to get through this much stronger when we just say, hey, yeah, I remember that. And it took a few weeks for me to get through that with open eyes and a smile on our faces, right? I think this is, we will do some happy tapping at the end of this, but I hear you. Let me check in with others on the call really quick now. I hear your point. Any other feedback?
Yes.
Okay.
I also can't save the world and was feeling very anxious about it. This was some time back, not related to the virus.
Mm-hmm.
I was advised that if I am peaceful, I am at home, I am peaceful, and I am emanating a peaceful energy. And that too is very helpful. That I can't feed everybody, I can't save every life, much as I might want to, but I can emanate peace and goodwill and good thinking. And I can do that from the safety of my home.
Yep. Yeah.
It doesn't.
Absolutely.
It doesn't.
I hear you.
It doesn't preclude doing kindnesses to other people outside if I can go outside, but it's really important to be emanating a peaceful feeling on an energetic level and send out those good vibes and do the EFT and
Right.
clean up our own act. We are all doing well when we do that.
So here is Beth, do you want to say something? Do I see you waving?
Oh, yeah. Is it okay now?
Yeah.
I just wanted to say that I could really relate. I was gifted with a neighbor brought us food last night. And it's not that we don't have stuff in the freezer, but we didn't have anything like to cook. We'd already had beans and rice once. I mean, but it was just the thought how much it was appreciated.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a lot of fear. I'll just say that about the maybe I don't relate to, because I know right now I can't save the world. Maybe that's internal conflict too, because I have in the past been one that's been my role or something. Now to be in a situation where I'm not able to do that, and I haven't been zen enough to send out good, good intentions or thoughts. I mean, so, but when Nell is it said about um, I have people want to. I don't know. They just keep talking about the same problem, and I just want to curse them and say, if you're going to talk about it, damn it, tap while you're doing it, because I've told you about it, even though and it's like so. So I guess they have a lot of anxiety, but then because sometimes I don't tap, and so I find I go and so it's like I'm judging other people, but I'm not doing it
Yeah.
as much as I would like to
Right.
anyway.
Right. And, and that's also why I think in this call, I really want to put things a little bit in perspective with you. Okay. We're not in a happy situation right now, guys. Sorry. And Americans are not used to that. Americans are not, I mean, on an individual basis, maybe, but not on a national basis. There is an entitlement to happiness. They believe pursuit to happiness means entitlement. And as long as there's Amazon and takeout, the world's going to be okay. Americans have never learned to suffer in grace. And there is a way to suffer, to sacrifice, to hunker down, to be humble, gracefully. And that is just not part of the school curriculum. This part of the school curriculum is if you don't have money, do it on your card. It's not safe up for a year and a half. I'm from Europe. We learned this. My parents learned this, right? When you go through 2 wars and you grow up in a bunker, you learn how to suffer in grace, because everybody else is suffering in grace, and the gratitude is being found. We're all together, and the rest will sort itself out, right? That's how I was raised. That's why people in Europe bounce back faster. Americans, they have never learned this. And I don't mean you guys personally, because you are here on this call because you're special. But that kind of helps us understand a lot of people out there who really just They just run into the stores and the cafes, and if there are 1,500 people in it, then they think, well, what difference does it make if I go to, right? It's just this weirdness about it. And I think learning to suffer in grace also means learning to accept that there are things about us that never change, no matter how much our life changes. And if we embrace that, then we can always be ourselves. We can always be strong. We can always be purposeful. We can always be in integrity. And sometimes we have a meal to share, and sometimes we don't. And sometimes we can help a person, and sometimes we just run away from it, right? Those outer things change, but who we are on the inside, how we get through this phase right now, this really shows what we're made of. And learning how to suffer, learning how to say, wow, June, really? July? What? Is a big deal. Learning to give things up is a big deal. And I think we needed that on some level. Yes, darling, Beth. Beth, did you want to say something?
Oh, no, I don't.
Okay. Does this resonate, or am I off the mark with you guys?
The only country that I really know that much about would be Germany. And my friends there, it's not the pursuit of stuff. It's their heritage. It's the local market. It's enjoying the day. It's looking at a rose. And
Yeah.
I think we need to be there more. It's not life happiness in the pursuit of stuff.
We learn how to cook much younger. We also learn how to drink much younger, which means
Yeah.
that people don't go out and binge drink when they're 21, because they've been drinking since they're 16. No deal, right? I mean,
Because
it's
they
different.
appreciate family and hold together.
So it is really what we can see this as an opportunity, or we can see this as unfair. And I think every time somebody says this is not fair, we should probably start learning and find out, why is it fair? You know, Nell, it's actually, even though it is unfair that you should solve the problem, it's an honor that they think you can. That's a big deal. You know, I wish my family, anybody of my family, would ever come to me and say, you know, maybe you can help me. They never do that. Never. Nobody, right? They just think I'm nuts, and that's the end of that. So that's why I'm here and they're not. It's an honor. It's a privilege. So the question then becomes, talking about getting through these times in grace and integrity, if you can't solve the problem, what can you do? And remember, the way that I teach EFT and the path of healing is acknowledgement, release, transformation. And I believe most EFTers that I know spend way too much time in the release and not enough in the acknowledgement. Acknowledgement is the first step, and sometimes that's all a person needs. They just need to know that they're right, that this sucks. That they're right, that it hurts, that they're right, it's unfair, that they're right, it shouldn't have happened, that they're right, and somebody sees them and they want to be seen and witnessed and acknowledged. They want somebody to just sit there, listen to them, and feed back to them what they hear, and tell them, you know what? I never knew this about you, and I totally get it. This sucks. And if that's all you can do, I don't know what the situation is, but that's a starting point.
The situation is childhood trauma that was hidden in the closet.
Yeah, that's exactly, yeah.
And my feeling, because I'm, this person can talk to me because most people can't tolerate her level of emotion and intensity and blah. And I feel like I can listen to it once, but I don't want this to take over our relationship for the rest of our life, that every time we're together, we go through it again, which is kind of how things.
And I see Barb. This is my favorite person down there. Hey, Barb. Gorgeous.
Hi, Ingrid. How are you?
Good.
You and all of you.
So I think everybody's unmuted right now. So now, have you told her that?
No, I'm working on the email that will tell her.
Don't email. Don't email. Here's,
okay.
Are you open to some coaching?
Sure. Yes, please.
So here's how we do this. Hey, Barb, here's how we do this. Here's how I do this. So you get the email. Did you get an email from her?
Yes.
Okay, good. So you don't respond to the email. You pick up the phone. And you say, hey, I got your email. You know what? I think we should talk. Email sucks. This is just weird. Let's not do that. And then you say, look, I mean, I'm seeing you have been through so much. Oh my goodness. And you know, I already know I will probably never understand how you feel about this, but this is a big deal. And I just want you to know that I know this. If you want to tell me all about it, that's great. I don't really know what you think I can do for you. But if you just want to tell me more, please go ahead. Okay? The more you say, tell me more, the less she will tell you. This is counterintuitive and it's true anyways. Because she says so much because she knows that nobody's listening to her more than once. So she has to get it all out in that one session and that one shot that she has. Does that make sense?
That hasn't been my experience in the past, but maybe I didn't say tell me more enough.
Maybe the energy of I hear you and just sitting with it instead of trying to fix it. It's a boundary thing. One of the things you can really say, you can be super clear and say, hey, I got your email, I want to talk to you. You know, I mean, in the past, yeah, I'm in between the eyes, you know, I really am, you know, and I really say, look, here's the thing. I mean, I have a number of tools to help you. I don't know if that's what you need right now. If you just want me to be your sounding board, I have 20 minutes right now. You know, if you want to work on this, we really have to talk about what that would look like, right? Because I'm always hesitant with personal relationships. If there is such a thing that you and I do together, we have to figure out how the boundaries are set. And I need to make sure that what we do together is actually helping you. And then you can actually remind her that the more often she repeats her trauma, the more traumatized she gets, unless there's a solution, which means there's no point in telling you over and over and over unless she actually gets relief. Make sense? So you really need to get clear for yourself. Don't feel victimized. Okay? And if that doesn't work, then you can tell her, you know, I actually have a friend and her name is Ingrid. Okay? Or whoever it is that you want her to work with. And you pass her on.
She has her therapists.
I'm sorry?
She has her therapist.
Yeah, but they're obviously not working for her.
Right. Like, well, she thinks they are. But yeah.
No. If they were working for her, she wouldn't have a problem. No.
She's on the 20-year plan. Yeah.
Yeah, imagine that. 5 sessions and we're good.
Ingrid,
so,
the takeaway I got is, what I wrote down is, you're telling them that the key is the more you go over and over this, the more the worse you are.
You just re-traumatize yourself.
The more traumatizing. And you're basically saying, I have this amount of time to listen to you, and it's a framework, because I think I must have this t-shirt that says, dump it all on me, I can handle it, and I really don't have a t-shirt.
What's the point? And she dumped it on somebody and they say, you can't handle it, you can walk away from it.
Yeah.
You know, dump it all on me, I can walk away anyway, it doesn't impact me. That's not healing. That sucks, right? If somebody says, yeah, I'm just gonna listen, so you get it out, you might as well talk through the wall or to your mirror, or make a video and watch it, you know? So, which, by the way, is a really good idea for your friend. If she really needs to talk it out, tell her to make a video and listen to it. Just like that, okay? Do whatever she needs to do a private video, get it out, tell the world over and over, and this is what happened, that's what happened, and she can listen to it over and over and over, and by the second she sees herself on the screen, something will click, and then she can tap along. For somebody who really needs to have that, that's a good idea to do. It is, so, I mean, this is really more kind of a little bit of a practitioner coaching here right now, but let's go there anyways, because you guys are there. I do this. I have started to do this with clients who are really clear in what their story is. Okay, for example, I have one client and she comes to me and her intake form said, I'm needy. I'm just needy. I'm really needy, you know, and I need to stop being so needy. I need to stop having that impact relationships. I need to stop doing this. And she tells me all these different things about being needy. And the first session we had, I said, look, there's one word you and I are not going to use, and that's the word needy. I will not allow you to sell me into this mindset. Okay, you can do better than that. All your life you've lived with, I think I'm needy. If that's who you are, then you don't have a problem. You're needy and it shows. Right? That's not a problem. You can be all you want, right? If you want to be needy, you be needy. You do what it takes and you hang, you know, but if you don't want to be needy, then let's not say you are. Because there's a part of you that clearly says, no, I'm not. And if that part of you says, I'm not, then I wonder what that part of you knows about you that you can't see right now. And then we switched over to realizing this is just an extremely emotionally intelligent person who cries at the drop of a hat. I mean, you can do a thing without her bursting into tears, right? Why? Because that's just who she is. That's not needy, that's emotional. That's different. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So, hey, hold on. Okay, my husband needs some coffee. So that's a different story. Why is it broken to be emotionally intelligent? And then you can really start building up who this person actually is, because the neediness is just a consequence of her not being allowed to show who she really is. Right? And I see this with other things too. I see this so often. People try to sell you into a story. I'm harsh. I have never heard a harsh person say they're harsh. I've only heard a soft person say they're harsh. Because a harsh person doesn't see a problem. You get that? Right? If that's who you are, then that's who you are. And you will not go to a practitioner and say, please change me at my core, because that's who you are and you're proud of it. But if that's not who you are, if that's who you think you should be, or if that's how if you don't know how to handle yourself with the gifts, the talents, and the good and the bad of that, that's when we turn into a side that then shows up as a perceived weakness that impacts relationships. So don't buy into that. If somebody shows up as being extremely vocal, she's not vocal because she wants the world to hear. She's vocal because she thinks nobody listens to her. Mm-hmm. And when you say, look, I have time for you, and here's another tip for you. Would you be okay if I take some notes? Is what you ask her. Mm-hmm. Okay? Because when you take notes, you not only validate her, you don't only say, well, I think this is exactly what you said. You not only really learn and not just let it go in and out and say, I can handle it because I'm going to leave the room, forget about it, and you can call me next week and tell me again. Right? You say, I take notes, I take this seriously. And you can then, should you work with her, feed her exactly what's back to her. And that's the thing she needs, the acknowledgement. But see, all of that is acknowledgement. None of this is transformation. We have no business telling people who they need to be. They know. Right? And
help them clear away what doesn't fit.
It's not your job to do anything for her. It's really your job to hold, to be for her, to mirror for her who she is anyways. Right? Does that make sense? If you come in, one of my mentors told me, if you see your client as in need of your help, move on. You're not the right practitioner. If you have a mindset that you have something that everybody else needs, move on. Nobody deserves to feel like that around another person. Nobody deserves the discomfort of being exposed to somebody who thinks they're more than them. And they're lesser than.
That's That's not quite how I see how I feel.
Then you're good for her.
Well, I
If you
feel
see
like
her, if you see her as broken, don't work with her.
I don't see her as broken, but I see her as there's a part of her that feels broken and that feels like
Yeah, but
I
that's
should
different.
fix her.
Well, no, okay, so this is a matter of, we're really doing a deep dive. This is a matter of conversation, my dear. You need to be more honest with her. So here's my problem. Look, I know you've been through a lot. And you've probably been through a whole lot more than you've told me so far, and you've told me a lot. Right? And a part of me feels like, one part is that I really want to help you, but I'm not really sure if I'm the right person. And a part of me is also not even sure if that's what you need right now.
I don't know either. I just keep tapping.
Listen to me. Listen to me. What do you need right now? What do you need from me? When you say you want me to help you, what would that look like? Where are you at? What do you want? This is the conversation you need to have with her. This is not about you. You need to find out what she wants, and then you need to make a decision if you are willing to do that for her. Okay? And if she says, well, I just need you to work with me, every morning from 9 to 11, and you say, honey, that's not going to happen, then that's not going to happen. Right? But you need to be clear and respectful so that you are partners in this. That's how I work with all my clients. We're partners. We have an agreement. This is what we do. This is how we heal. This is how it's going to unfold. This is how this is going to, how we're going to do this. If I change a course, I describe what I do, and I ask them if that's something they are willing to explore. And if they say that's not what I need, then that's not what we do. Right? And if it's a family member, it might just be too close to home. And you have everywhere in the world to tell her.
Thank you very much.
Right?
I'll need to listen to the recording again and keep.
I don't know why this is hard for you.
Hmm?
I don't know why this is hard for you.
Oh, okay.
Seriously, no, I don't know.
Yeah. Well,
this is easy. Like so I get it. Maybe you want to do some work around that now. Maybe you really do. Maybe you want to give me a call later and we can see how that works for you and what we need to do, what you and I may have to do to get moved through this. I don't know that. If you feel like you would like to do some work, give me a call later. Okay? Shoot me an email. I have time this afternoon. 15 minutes, we can talk about it. Okay?
Thank you.
It might just be the right time for you to consider to actually doing some deeper work on this.
I have an appointment at 3 with somebody.
So
for this.
It's not 3, it's 1. Okay. So, yes. And if you watch your own reaction to my offer and see, and it's just acknowledge that. Okay, you guys, here is, Barb just left the room. What else comes to mind for you guys? I know this was a little bit of an excursus into setting boundaries and being clear. And I think it also, but it does feed into the bigger picture of kind of claiming our space in the pandemic, understanding how do we present ourselves? Where do we help? Do we help? Are we the right people to help? What do we need? How do we get what we need, and how do we give what we can give so that the whole thing just feels congruent and right? I think from that angle, our talk right now, Nell, was actually very valuable. So thank you for bringing that up.
Thank you for taking the time.
Yeah. So what are you guys' thoughts? Barb, I see you there. I also see Anna Maria there. Deborah. So what are you guys' thoughts? Anything else you would like to tap on? I have an agenda for the tapping, for our last round of tapping, but I'm not going to go there yet.
Ingrid, can you hear me?
Yes, Anna Maria.
Yeah, hi. This has been super helpful. And it's the first time I'd been able to get on since you sent out the other opportunities. I wasn't able to go on those times. And then I accidentally came upon your email, and that's why I was 20 minutes late. And I said, oh my gosh, I can come. And I don't have a camera here on this laptop.
That's fine.
Yeah, so I have your point of view. There's so many things you said that are bang on, and you talked about the sense of entitlement over here. And yesterday was the first time I was able to go see my father at the special, we say it different here, CHSLD. It's like a nursing home specialized, but it's by the government. It's not, and it was on lockdown since March 13. And I used to go see my father every single day. He has Alzheimer's.
Oh.
And, but he still remembers me. And I'm also a massage therapist, and I got into massage to massage my parents as they age, which is fun, and I get to live my dream. And I got to see him for the first time. They allowed it because they gave a 2-hour training at the hospital for us to go, and we had to be tested for COVID. I was negative, and yesterday was the first day I could see him, and of course he got a massage. But also to say that it's my first night of sleep that I had. And all of the things that you talked about today in this session with everybody is so true. And it's like watching a movie over and over again. And I have all these feelings of, and I'm trying not to be in judgment. And I get angry, I get upset inside of myself of everything that I see. And then you get people's reactions that think you're not normal. Like, for example, before I would go and see my dad every day. I arranged my life where I took care of him, and I worked and did everything else. And now I'm back to that. Some people think that's highly abnormal, and they think you have a psychological problem because you take care of your elderly parent at that level. And I'm Hungarian. I was born here in Canada, but I was raised with Eastern European culture, and sometimes it's quite a slap in the face to get that reaction. So I tend to hide that part of myself. And then
But don't teach them.
Yes, but
don't
then
hide it. Teach them. They need a lesson in taking care of your people.
Yeah, but then some people literally think you have a psychological problem, but we have so much, you know, and whether it would be not an elderly person, I feel that way towards people. It's just normal, you know. And so what I'm experiencing is always resetting myself. I'm not a phony, I'm not a hypocrite, but when I walk around outside of, I mean, now I can because I'm out of lockdown, but for the little that I go out or just conversations on the phone, I really have to gauge who I'm talking to. I've really got to be good at showing what side of myself am I going to show, because it's going to be too much for that person. So if a person doesn't resonate with this mentality that I just talked about, which is okay, then I'll talk about another part of myself, or I'll guide someone another way with some other analogy or some other way, and I present different parts of myself to different people so that I could stay safe, because psychologically or mentally, it's so draining and exhausting, where I feel like I have to live a double life sometimes.
You have to live a double life because they don't understand that you worry about your parents?
Yeah, like sometimes I feel like I live a double life because, for example, I work as a massage therapist. I do a lot of healing work. I do coaching. I do a lot of things. I teach Pilates classes, you know, like when everything was normal. And then there's that side of me. And then there's my family side of me. And there's just this place, like, you know, there's EFT and offering tools to people. And you know who you can offer that to, and you know who you must not talk about healing work to, for example. And I'm always changing hats and being appropriate. I've become very adaptable, and it's wonderful. But you know what? Since this COVID, all of a sudden I'm learning what it is to be myself. And if someone doesn't like it, they can go fly a kite.
Right. Anna-Maria, let me interrupt you. I hear you.
Sure,
we're getting a little bit close to the end of the session, so I would like to take what you said and also wrap it up a little bit. And just for the record, you know, usually we do these calls for 90 minutes, plus minus a few minutes. You know me. I mean, I'm not going to stop a tapping session in the middle because
I
of my
don't know
hands
if
are.
anybody else
But-
feels the way I do. If they
Yeah,
don't,
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I hear you.
then
I hear you. I hear you. I got you. I got you.
maybe somebody doesn't feel like this.
I got you. I got you. I'm German. I hear you. And I know that
Yeah.
there's a moment at which you just have to say, look, in my culture, it's different. End of story. Right?
Yeah, it's very
And-
painful.
No, it's not painful at all. It's actually not unless you want it to be.
Well, they get offended. They
And only if you say it in an offensive way.
No, no. I
Yes,
don't want to hurt
for sure.
someone's feelings.
Okay, so listen to me. It's only offensive if you say it in an offensive way.
Yeah, no, I'm okay.
And it is only not appreciated if you think it's not to be appreciated.
Okay.
Okay? And the way to carry your culture is by storytelling, not
Yeah,
and
that's
by
what I-
example. And that is how you carry your story. So you go
That's
and
what I
say,
do.
look, and you say, look, in my culture, you know, our folks we always had to take care of our elders. And that is how I was raised. And I love it because, and it's a beautiful thing for me. And I know in America it's different, but you know what? I'm not going to give that up. I like it.
Yeah.
And what are you going to say? Okay. The rest of it is really work. And you may, and let me just, because we're coming to the end of the call, let me just do a final tapping on all this. And let me see how we can integrate all this. And Anna Maria, you're welcome to shoot me an email and we can get on the phone together later. Okay.
Can I say one thing?
Yeah.
Could I say one thing quickly? I am the daughter of German immigrants, and I'm also Jewish. And the things you're talking about are very much part of our culture. And I think you need to also be consider. While I agree with you, there are Americans or people who've been making these comments to you who don't get it. There are more of us out there who are like you than you may think, because there are many, many people in this country who come from cultures and still live in cultures that support the idea of taking care of parents and all of that sort of thing.
Thank you so much.
100%. Anna Maria, I think this is really a fear that you have, and the experience is not necessary. Your experience, and I'm not doubting your experience, but I'm saying that there are many different ways of really becoming a spokesperson, leading by example, and using this in a format that people will admire and adore you. If you try to explain yourself from a place of lack, it's a problem. If you explain yourself from a place of strength, it's not. And you know, it really is that. Okay, so Deborah is here, you know, for a parent, daughter of Jewish immigrants. I'm German.
Yeah.
You see conflict there? It doesn't have to be one.
Right.
Right? Because nobody wanted what happened over there. And we're all on the same page on that level. Okay? And my father was in a work camp for 3 years. And I don't know, Deborah, what happened to your parents, but there is a shared trauma here. And you got to step into that. There are a lot of people right now who are struggling because their families can't be there for them. Your father's not one of them. And that's nice. Okay, so let's just take a breath and let's do, here's a thought that I had that I hope is helpful for you guys. What I realized, and this is personal, is I needed to find a way to forgive those who created this chaos. And I, for the life of me, couldn't do that. Right? And I'm usually, you know, all of you who've ever done a training with me or worked with me personally, you know that I'm not big on forgiveness. I think that things sort themselves out and forgiveness is optional because it just means you detach yourself. But that's not right now. I don't think that just by me being fine, whatever happened here and is continuing to happen on a historical level is, you can't just brush it under the rug and move on. I think this is different. And that's how I feel. And so I would like to do with you guys our final tapping on finding a way to forgive. And I don't know where that leads us. Okay. I don't have a script in front of me. I really don't know where that leads us. I'm going to watch your faces and I'm going to tune into my own intuition here a little bit and we see what happens. But if we don't find a way to forgive mentally ill folks who are clearly screwing up in a big way, who have we as practitioners, we all know who would tap with them. If they just sat down in the chair and shut up, we would have some work cut out for ourselves, right? But they're not doing that. We all know that a lot of the people that are causing the trouble right now would be perfect clients for us. And some of them would probably not be perfect clients, but they sure need some help. True?
I don't know what she's talking about.
So, finding a way to forgive those who screwed this up is a big deal. And that's personal. That's how you perceive the situation. That is how you look at what's going on. So let's go ahead and try that. I'm going to mute yourself. I'm going to mute you if that's okay, because otherwise we're going to have a very strange, how many people we have? Still have 10 people on the call right now. Let's see what it feels like if we leave the mics open. I see some of you have muted yourself anyways. Beth, Cynthia, Deborah, and Nell, you guys are muted right now. If you want to stay muted, you can be. Okay, karate chop on. Let's just leave it as is. Karate chop on. Even though. Here I am. Stuck with all this anger. Stuck with all this anger. With the confusion. And with the fear.
And with the fear.
And I don't know yet.
And I don't know yet.
How to feel about all this.
How to feel about all this.
How to feel about the people who did this to us.
How to feel about the people who did this.
Who did this to us? Who contributed to this?
Who contributed to this?
Who added to the chaos?
Who added
to the chaos?
Who were inconsiderate to our needs?
Who were inconsiderate to our needs?
Who didn't care about the people?
Who didn't care about the people?
And just counted them as casualties and numbers.
And just counted them as
casualties and numbers.
Reality is it's neither casualties nor numbers.
Reality is
they're neither casualties nor numbers.
There are people who died from this.
There are people who died from this.
Who didn't have to die.
Who didn't have to die.
It's unjust and unfair.
It's unjust and unfair.
It's extremely scary.
It's extremely scary.
So much loneliness.
So much loneliness.
So much hunger.
So much hunger.
So much desperation.
So much desperation.
So many destroyed dreams.
So many destroyed dreams.
And it didn't have to be this way.
And it didn't have to be this way.
And how in the world are you ever going to forgive?
And how in the world are we ever going to forgive
those who contributed to this?
Those who contributed to this.
I choose.
I choose.
To find a way.
To find a way.
Find a way.
That feels really right and authentic to me right now.
That feels really
right
and authentic to me right now.
And even though. I struggle with this.
I struggle with this.
I really do.
I really do.
It's a big deal for me.
It's a big deal for me.
And I'm not sure.
If
it's even justified to forgive.
If
it's even justified to forgive them.
After all, we have to honor some of the injustice that happened.
After all, we have to honor some of the injustice that happened.
We can't just brush it under the rug.
Can't just brush it under the rug.
We can't just say, well, that happened and it's over.
Can't just say, well, that happened and it's over.
That's not fair.
That's not fair.
That's not fair.
We have to do more.
We have to do more.
We have to do more.
But I just don't know what.
But I just don't know what.
And I love and accept myself.
And I love and accept myself.
And even though I don't know yet.
Even though I don't know yet.
If I will ever be ready to find a way to forgive.
If I will ever be ready to find a way to forgive.
Because deep down I know.
Because deep down I know.
And I have every right to hold on to this.
That I have every right to hold on to this.
What happened wasn't forgivable.
What happened
What
wasn't
happened
forgivable.
wasn't forgivable.
What happened wasn't okay.
What happened wasn't.
Wasn't okay.
Happened wasn't okay.
And that's just the
Happened
truth.
wasn't okay.
And that's just the
That's
truth.
just the truth.
That's just truth.
Over 80,000 men and women and children died in the United States.
Over
Over
80,000
80,000
men, women, and
women
children
and
died
children
in the United
died in
States
the U.S.
In less than 2 months.
in less
in
than 2
less than
months.
2 months.
And there's no end in sight.
And there's no
And
end in
there's no
sight.
end in sight.
Which part of that is forgivable?
Which part of that is
Which part of
forgivable?
that is
Which part of
forgivable?
that will ever be okay?
Which part of that will
Which part of
ever
that
be
will ever be
okay?
okay?
Which part of that should I ever just let go and move on?
Which part of
Which
that
part
should
of
I
that
ever
should
just
ever
let
just
go
let go and
and
move
move
on?
on?
What is the right response to this?
What is the
What
right
is the right
response to
response
this?
to this?
The one that empowers me.
One that empowers me.
And empowers
One that
me.
allows me to continue to let my light shine.
The one that allows me to continue to let my light shine.
My light shine.
One that nurtures my heart and my soul.
One
that nurtures my
heart
soul.
Because I need nurturing right now.
Because
I need nurturing right now.
I got abused on every level imaginable.
I got abused on every level imaginable.
Deeply traumatized by everything that happened.
Being re-traumatized
That's by everything that happened.
And it might even be.
It might even be.
I believe that my only way to protect myself,
I believe my only way to protect myself,
keep my guard up and watching the news.
keep my
guard up
and watching the news.
And having my body on high alert at all times.
And having my body on high alert at all
on high alert at all
Bracing itself for impact.
Bracing itself for impact.
It might be that that's how I feel.
It might be that that's how I feel.
Even though it doesn't do shit for me.
Even though it doesn't do shit for me.
What am I going to do?
What am I
What am I going to do?
And do.
How do I forgive this?
How do
I forgive myself?
The right way to forgive it.
What's the right way to forgive it?
The point of view is correct.
What point of view is correct?
And how can I claim it without a witness?
How can I claim it without a witness?
If only I could stand up on a pedestal.
If only I could stand up on a pedestal.
Screaming into the face of those who wronged me.
Screaming in the face of those around me.
Seeing the shock and the remorse on their faces.
Seeing the shock and remorse on their faces.
And receiving their deepest apologies and their promise to change.
Receiving their deepest apologies and promises to change.
Sorry, I messed up for that, like that. I'm so sorry that I messed up like that.
I'm so sorry that I messed up like that.
Yeah, I could have that satisfaction.
If only I could have that satisfaction.
Maybe then I could move on.
Then I could
move on.
But the truth is that's not going to happen.
But the truth is that's not going to happen.
That's why people are screaming in each other's faces.
That's
why people are screaming in each other's faces.
Seeing their own pain caused by someone else. Seeing their own conflicts reflected in somebody else.
Seeing their own conflicts reflected in someone else.
Seeing their own need to be heard reflected in others.
Seeing their own need to be heard reflected in others.
Seeing their own need to understand who they are reflected in others.
Seeing their own need to understand who they are reflected in others.
It said those who wronged us.
Those around us.
And those who surround us.
The truth is that those who wronged us.
The truth is
that those who wronged us.
Actually don't personally know us.
Actually don't
personally know us.
So we can be all mad.
So we can be all mad.
It doesn't mean that the government knows us personally.
It doesn't mean that the government knows us personally.
They really don't.
They
It really doesn't.
They know where our state is on the map.
They know where our state is on the map.
If you live in New Hampshire, they've probably been in every restaurant we have.
In New Hampshire, you've probably been in every restaurant we have.
It's a joke of that, but it's true. but But they don't know us.
But they don't know us.
They don't
They haven't
know
done
us.
it to us,
They haven't done it
They
to us,
haven't done
even though
it
they
to
have.
us,
even though they have.
even though they
Because
have.
they are so powerful that their actions impact our lives.
They're so
They
powerful, their
are
actions
powerful, their
impact my life.
actions impact my life.
But what if I was so powerful
What if I was
But
so
what if I
powerful
was
that
so
my
powerful?
my actions impact their life as well?
that my actions
My
impact their
actions
lives as
impact.
well?
My actions impact what they did to my life.
My actions
My
impact what
actions
they did
impact
to
what
my
they
life.
did to my
I had
life.
everything I need to push back
If I had everything I need to push
Everything I need
back
to push back.
and carve out some space for myself.
and carve out some
I
space for
carve out
myself.
some space for myself.
What if I could?
What if I could?
What
What if I could do that?
What if I could
What
do
if I
that?
could do
What if I
that?
could just say, screw that, I am not weak?
What if I
What
could
if
just
I
say,
could
screw
just say,
that?
screw that, I
I'm not weak.
am not weak.
I don't need your permission to be strong.
I don't need your
I don't
permission to
need
be
your
strong.
permission to
I
be
don't
strong.
need your permission to survive and thrive under any circumstance.
I don't
I
need
I
don't
need
need
your
your
permission to survive and thrive in any circumstances.
I already know you're wrong.
I already know
I
you're
already
wrong.
know you're wrong.
And I also know that you're not going to get a chance to stand on that pedestal.
And also know not
I also know that you're
I'm not going to
gonna
get a chance to stand on that pedestal.
I'm
I'm not going to get a
chance
chance to stand on that
stand on
pedestal.
that pedestal.
So what is there that I get a chance to do?
So what
What
is there?
What is there that I get a chance to do?
to do?
What if I took inventory?
What if I took
What if I took
inventory?
inventory?
What if I really did?
What if I really
What if I
did?
really did?
did.
And I
Really
looked
did.
at the things that came to my life
And I look at the
I look at
things
the
that
things
came
in
to my life.
my life.
because of the situation.
Not just the
Because-
situation,
Because of the situation
because of the situation
that I didn't have before.
that I didn't have
That I
before.
didn't have
Before.
before.
I didn't have a Tuesday morning tapping class.
I didn't
I
have a
didn't have
Tuesday
a
morning
Tuesday
tapping
morning
class.
tapping
I didn't
class.
have a place to go and
I
meet
didn't
people.
have a
didn't
place to
have
go
place
and
to
meet
go.
people.
I couldn't just pick up the phone because nobody was ever home.
I couldn't just pick
Couldn't
up the
just pick
phone.
up the
Nobody
phone
was
'cause
ever
nobody
home.
was ever home.
All the messages are left and now people are there.
All the messages
All
I
the
left.
messages are left and
Now people are there.
Are there.
People take themselves seriously.
People take themselves
So
seriously.
seriously.
People learn how to cook.
People learn how to
People
cook.
learn how to
Cook.
cook.
People learn how to eat together.
People learn how to
People
eat
learn
together.
how to
Eat
eat
together.
together.
People do things that they never did before.
People do
People
things that they
do
never
things
did
that they never
before.
did
And these
before.
things are actually much closer to home
And these
And
things are
these
actually
much
closer to home.
closer to home.
for me personally
Me
For
personally,
me
Like-
than the
personally,
collapse of a pork fabric in Nebraska. Fabric factory in Nebraska.
perhaps of a fabric
And
factory
how-
in Nebraska.
And that doesn't mean it's not there.
And it doesn't mean it's not
I mean,
there.
it's not
It's
there.
just not
Yeah.
here.
It's just not
It's
here.
just not
But
here.
I am.
But I
But
am.
I
I am.
The
am.
way to forgive.
What's the way
Way
to forgive?
My
forgive.
way to forgive.
My way to
My way
forgive
to forgive
My way to forget.
It's not by justifying the injustice.
is not by
is not by
justifying
justifying
the injustice.
Because that shit is real.
Because that shit
Because
is
that
real.
shit is real.
And it will always be real.
And it will always
And it
be
will
there.
Be
always
real.
be
No,
real.
please.
And the anger about it is justified.
And the anger
And
about
the
it is
anger about it
justified.
is justified.
But the truth is that I went through a major transition
Truth
The
is
truth is
that
I
I
went
met
through a major
Went through a
transition.
major
transition
that brought
transition.
things into my life that I never thought I could have.
that brought things
brought
into my
things-
life
One thing in my life I never
thought I
thought would
could have.
happen.
I thought I could have.
I got opportunities now that I didn't have before.
I've got
I have
opportunities now.
Opportunities that I never had before.
Never before.
I'm learning about things that are important to me.
I'm learning about things that
Learning
are
about
important
things
to
that
me.
are important to me.
So maybe it's possible
So maybe it's possible
Maybe it's possible
to never justify the injustice,
to never
To
justify
never
the
justify the
injustice,
injustice.
justice.
to never excuse the things that went wrong,
never excuse
Never
the things
excuse
that
the
went
things that
wrong,
went
Wrong.
wrong.
to hold them for what they are
hold them for what they
Hold
are
them for what they are.
as a
What they
historical
are.
fact,
as a historical fact.
And then take a step back.
And then take a step back.
And then take a step
and
back.
look at my life.
And look at
and
my life.
Look at my life.
Look what I'm able to do.
Look what I'm able to
Look
do.
what
What
I'm
I'm
able to do.
I never thought I could do.
That I never thought I
I
could
never
do.
thought I could do.
I never thought I could live 2 months without seeing my father.
I never thought I could live
Never
2
thought I
months
could live
without
2
seeing my
months
father.
without
I never thought
family.
I could be seen in my family for who I am.
I never thought I could be seen
Never
in my
thought I could
family
be
for who
seen
I
in
am.
my family
I
for
never
who I
thought that I would learn so much about Zoom.
I never thought I'd learn so
thought
much
I'd learned
about
so much
Zoom.
about Zoom.
I never knew so many things about me.
I never
Never
knew.
knew so many
never knew
things
so
about
many
me.
things
And
about
that
me.
stuff is real.
And that
That
stuff is
stuff is
real.
real.
It's real.
It changed me.
It changed me.
It made me more mature.
It made me
It
more
made me
mature.
more
Made
mature.
me a more mature adult.
Made me a more
Made me
mature
a more
adult.
mature adult.
I'm more mature now than I was before.
Mature
I'm
now than I
mature
was
than
before.
I was before.
Because I sorted out what's important and what isn't.
Because I
Sorted
sorted out
what's important and what
and what
isn't.
isn't.
And that only took 2 months.
And it only took
Took 2 months.
Not 20 years of therapy.
not 20 years of therapy.
With a therapist. Sorry, I
With a
have to.
therapist.
Just have to go there. It's working so well. I've been doing it for 20 years.
Working so well. I've been doing it for
Been
20
doing
years.
it for 20 years.
So I don't know what forgiveness looks like.
I don't know what
I don't know
forgiveness
what
looks like.
forgiveness looks like.
I don't know if it's possible.
I don't know if it's possible.
I don't know if it's necessary.
I don't know if it's necessary.
I don't know what that can look like.
I don't know what it can look like.
It's authentic to me.
It's authentic to me.
But what I do know,
What I do know.
that I have the right to grow in this process.
I have a right to grow in this process.
I have the right to create a life I never thought I could have.
I have the right to create a life I never thought I could have.
The right to choose much more wisely with a lot less social pressure.
Right, the right to choose wisely with a lot less social pressure.
I have the right to make my own decisions.
I have the right to make my own decisions.
And only do what I want to do.
And only do what I want to do.
So even if I never find a way to forgive what happened.
So even if I never find a way
to forgive what happened.
Because that kind of forgiveness is a choice, not mandatory.
Because that kind of forgiveness is a choice, not mandatory.
Different people have different reasons for their choices.
Have different reasons for their choices.
Some may be there and some may never get there.
Some may be there and some may never get there.
Because it's just not what they need to do.
Because it's just not what they need to do.
But we all have the right to feel good about ourselves.
But we all have the right to feel good about ourselves.
Looking back at history and the suffering.
Looking back at history and the suffering.
We are now one of those.
We are now one of those.
We are now one of those who went through a huge epidemic.
We are now one of those who went through a huge epidemic.
We are one of the survivors.
So far, we're one of the survivors
of Covid-19.
Of Covid-19.
That horrible pandemic that took millions of lives.
That horrible pandemic that took millions of lives.
And livelihoods.
And livelihoods.
We're one of the survivors.
We're one of the survivors.
It was life-changing.
It was life-changing.
It was a big deal.
It was a big deal.
And my life was never the same again.
And my life was never the same again.
But in many ways, a lot of things fell away.
And in many ways, a lot of things fell away.
That I really didn't have to have in my life anyways.
That I didn't have to have in my life anyway.
So whether I can forgive those who've caused this or not.
So whether I can forgive those who caused this or not.
Those who are too weak to lead.
Those who are too weak to lead.
Those who are too afraid to make big decisions.
Those who are afraid to make big decisions.
Those who cave in under pressure.
Those who cave in under pressure.
Those who are losing their character and their point of view.
Those who are losing their character and their point of view.
Out of fear.
Out of fear.
Out of massive, overwhelming fear.
Out of massive, overwhelming fear.
I am in charge and I have no idea what I'm doing.
I'm in charge and I have no idea what I'm doing.
How do I handle this?
How do I handle this?
What do I do now?
What do I do now?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Maybe I should watch TV.
Maybe I should watch TV.
And find out what they say.
And find out what they say.
Maybe the best is to distract people.
Maybe the best is to distract people.
So I can buy myself some time.
So I can buy myself some time.
'Cause I have no idea what I'm doing.
I have no idea what I'm doing.
And I did not sign up for this.
I did not sign up for this.
This is not why I applied for the job.
It's not why I applied for the job.
It's not fair that I have to deal with this now.
It's not fair that I have to deal with this.
I never saw that in my job description.
I never saw that in my job description.
But what are you doing throwing this at me?
What are you doing throwing this?
Let somebody else solve the problem.
Let somebody else solve the problem.
So unfair.
So unfair.
Whatever they're thinking.
Whatever they're thinking.
I don't know if I have to think the same way.
I don't know if I have to think the same way.
I don't know if I have to see myself as a victim.
I don't know if I have to see myself as a victim.
Rather than a person living in a country that I don't know yet.
Rather than a person living in a country that I don't know yet.
I don't know yet.
A country that has changed.
A country that has changed.
A country that's different.
A country that's different.
People that are different.
People that are different.
Things that are very weird now.
Things that are very weird now.
And I have to learn what that looks like.
I have to learn what that looks like.
One step at a time.
One step at a time.
And how much of that is me.
And how much of that is me.
And how much of that is just weird.
And how much of that is just weird.
Weird. Weird.
Weird.
And even though I don't know what the future's going to bring.
And even though I don't know what the future's going to bring.
I choose to be surprisingly okay with that.
I choose to be surprisingly okay with that.
Take a breath. How'd that feel?
Nice.
Good.
Thank you.
Is this helpful?
You said some things that needed to be said.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
And we need to say them, you know, and that's exactly what I was talking about before. We don't have a solution here. This is not a problem that we just need to find a solution and the solution is A or B. We are in a situation and we need to adjust. We need to adjust according to what our own integrity is telling us to do. Right? And who you are and who you want to be in this life and how you see and present yourself, this is your choice. Nobody can tell you that. How you get through this with grace is your choice. Which people you talk to is your choice. How you approach others or just kind of let it all slide away is your choice. The government, if that's who you are angry at, and some of you maybe, some of you may not, they don't know you. They don't. And even if they did, poof, right? Nobody cares. They don't know us. It is our responsibility to do with this life what we're given and what we're dealt with in the way that we know how to do it. And those responsibilities and those tasks are very different for each and every one of us. So find your place in this. Okay? Start breathing again. Start finding out what is safe. And if you're certainly sure that something isn't safe, then by all means, just don't do it. Right? I already texted my hairstylist that I will, if she needs money, I'm going to send her a check, but I will not get that haircut until a couple of months from now. I just won't, right? I want her to stay open and feed her children, but I am not going to go in and do that. There's just no point, right? You can find a solution. It doesn't mean you're not supporting your peeps. You can send them a check and say, hey, give it to me in 2 months. Right? There's so many different ways of doing something in a way that feels right for you. Find your place. This is empowering. This is your future. And I think we all have a right to celebrate that and live that. And I'm going to be very curious to see what comes out of this. So here's what I'm going to do, my loves. I will ask folks, I'm going to send out a little survey monkey, and I'm going to find out if people can actually rather do a different day than the Tuesday and get a little bit of an overview about who can do what. And then I will continue to do this kind of classes. Today we went way over, but usually it's 90 minutes. But hey, you know what? We needed this. Then we're going to put them in the calendar, and then we hopefully can reach more people. It's not fair to, keep somebody out because they can't do Tuesdays. I just need to know what people need. I also need to know what people want to work on. The practitioner questions, there's certainly a different forum for those. Generally speaking, we talked about it before because it really fit into the theme that showed up very quickly. But there are different things that we do. I also will tell you about the clutter clearing class. Keep your eyes open for that. It's profound. Okay, it's really, really cool when you learn straightforward how to clean out your stuff. It's no feng shui. You can believe me on that. I will not teach you feng shui, and I will not teach you that something's right or wrong. You know me too good for that, right? I don't care what's right or wrong as long as it works for you. But there's a system to things. And once you have that system down, your life will change. And what happens is that when you do this on the outside, your inner changes will manifest better. They will just be locked in better because your surroundings hold the energy of who you are on the inside. And for so many people, that's just not true, right? They go through all these phenomenal shifts and all these phenomenal changes inside, and they go back and they stare at their mother's, whatever it is, and they never like their mother, right? And boom, the energy is back, and they wonder why it's not holding. Well, that's why it's not holding. It's your mother's thing and you don't like it. And she gave it to you because she didn't want it and you thought that was unfair. Now you look at it and you feel unfair again. That's why. Okay, we need to clean that up, cobwebs. And I'm really good at that. So watch out for that. Also, please, if you want to, you are more than welcome to schedule a 15-minute call with me. I think some of you on this call, they actually need to do some personal work, some private personal work. And this is going to catapult you to where you want to be. And I think for some of you on the call, this has been a very long time coming, and you knew this for a long time, that you need personal support and really working through some deeper stuff that is not for a Taylor class and not for a webinar and not for others to witness and to watch. This is your private time. And if you think back about how long you've been sitting on this, how many years sometimes you've been struggling with this, and how many years it stopped you from living the life that you want to live, maybe it's a good time to say, hey, I think I'm ready to change. And if that's you, if that's where you're at, shoot me an email. We put you in a calendar. We talk about it. I tap with you a little bit and we see what it is that you need. And if all you want to do is talk to me personally for 15 minutes, that's fine too. I never push anybody into anything that is not a choice for you that comes from you, right? I just make offers, but I don't tell you what to do. All right, you guys? Sounds good? Are we all muted?
Thank you.
Unmuted? Okay, so from some of you guys, and I hope you know who you are, I hope that that I hear from you, okay? And other than that, watch for the email and what we do next week. I love you all. Thank you for hanging in there. Thank you for coming. Thank you all for your openness and your wonderfulness, and you're really, really special.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Have a great week.
You too.